Welcome to Total Leadership TV. I'm very pleased to have with me today Ann Erny, who is a Managing Director and the Chief Diversity Officer at Lehman Brothers. Ann, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Stu. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
This afternoon, we're going to be talking about leadership at Lehman and about this idea of four-way wins, how you integrate the different parts of your life to create value in all of them. So let's start, if you could just tell me what your role is. What's your primary responsibility at Lehman as the Chief Diversity Officer?
Well, as Chief Diversity Officer, I like to say that I think I have the best job at Lehman Brothers.
Why is that?
It's a great opportunity to really rethink the workplace. My responsibilities include creating strategy around workplace diversity, marketplace diversity, and also supplier. And what that really means is really thinking about how we can be the employer of choice for women, people of color, people of different sexual orientations, but not only on a U.S. basis, but globally. And when you work for a financial services company, when essentially what they deliver to clients is intellectual capital, the idea is to get the most diverse group of ideas on the table so that we can figure out and deliver the best solutions for our clients. So we're really dealing in intellectual capital, and as you would think about an asset portfolio, a money portfolio, diversification is a great thing. In terms of productivity, if you can really get people to bring their whole selves to work, despite the fact that they may be working in traditional cultures, we really think that people will bring their best ideas as well.
How long have you been in this role now?
I've been in this role now for 5 years, and it was really quite daunting at first because the idea was, how could you really get an organization to buy into the fact that we wanted to change? And the idea was, how could we attract more women and people of color to an industry that was traditionally, not open and not as welcoming to people who are different. And I think right now we're seeing an increase in the number of women, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, gay and lesbians who are now applying to Lehman because they understand that we have an open and inclusive culture. They can bring their whole selves to work and really thrive.
So what's that look like on a day-to-day basis? How do people understand that that's a reality, a new reality in your company?
Sure. Well, one of the things we've been working on, particularly with our leadership, is to really think about, what are the assumptions we bring to the workplace and how does that impact our decisions as leaders? So we've really tried to help everyone at Lehman in teams to understand, how small interactions can really impact the overall outcomes of what you're trying to achieve. So we've done some work in our leadership programs, really analyzing what these assumptions might be. We've done some awareness training, and that was really just the beginning of the foundation of really trying to figure out how we could manage ourselves more inclusively. Another big initiative that we set up at Lehman was to create affinity networks, where we created a group called WIL, Women's Initiatives Leading Lehman, which was really a place for women to be encouraged, inspired, and mentored in their careers.
So you found a way to have that kind of real social network happen in a way that people feel like they've got somebody who can
absolutely
listen to them and really talk to them.
It's a safe place.
And that's made a difference in their in your firm's reputation on the street.
Absolutely.
How do you know that? Where do you see that?
Well, we see it in terms of the number of students, for example, on campus who are now seeking us out during recruiting periods. Also in terms of lateral candidates, we often see candidates cite the fact that we're known for innovation and creativity in the way we approach the workplace, the way we manage our people, but that we're generally really inclusive of all people in different styles. And when you have a very senior manager interviewing a candidate or trying to woo a candidate, and that candidate might mention to them that the reason they would consider Lehman is because of our culture, then you're hitting the right spot.
So you're hearing that?
We are hearing that.
So we've talked about this concept of four-way wins.
Love it, yeah.
Well, tell me, what do you love about it?
Well, when you think about four-way wins, we're all really struggling with this notion of work-life balance or work-life integration. And when you talk about that concept, it really connotes, and I think you say this in your book, this notion of a balance. And as anybody who's juggling family and a career, there's never balance. There's never balance in a single day, in a week, and sometimes not even in a month. But if you can get people, as your book really drives, to think about 4 domains of their life, their personal selves, their families, their work, and their communities, and really think about how they're spending 100% of their time every day, and asking themselves, is that how I value my time? Is that what I really want to get done? I think is a very important way for people to be more intentional about what they do. And we really find that sometimes, you come to work and you get swept off your feet by important and not so important initiatives. And if you can be more deliberate and more intentional about what matters, I think people, again, it goes to this notion of they'll be more productive.
What do you think this is going to lead to in terms of impact on the firm's culture and also its performance, not to mention what you were talking about earlier, its ability to attract and retain the best talent on the street?
Well, pretty much the foundation of our strategy is to really drive inclusion into all the operating systems of the firm. So we've partnered with Leadership and Learning. We've partnered with Corporate Communications.
Leadership and Learning is
our talent management area. We've partnered with Recruiting, Corporate Communications, Philanthropy, the businesses, to really drive inclusion and diversity into how they operate every day. One of the areas that we're really trying to re-engineer is how can we get the most out of every person's day. So one of our thoughts around your 4-way wins is, you often, have people quit and say on their way out the door that they were seeking better work-life balance, that things were too difficult, that they were, there were FaceTime challenges.
You hear that a lot.
Well, I think it's generally something that the entire industry, the entire workplace, corporate America fights against this notion that there's so many hours demanded of us every day.
Well, particularly in the banking industry.
I think it's particularly hard because it's technologically driven 24/7. It's an incredibly global business, and our primary mandate is to be available for customers.
Right, it's client-driven.
It is absolutely client-driven. So to the extent that we can make sure that people are in their seats when they're needed and not because they think they have to be is a very important notion.
Yes.
Your 4-way wins is something I think at Lehman that we're trying to think about of helping people really think about how they can do small experiments totally within the realm of their day-to-day about what they want to achieve. And some of the work we've done together, Stu, has been actually asking, a VP what matters to them. And in some cases, it was going to pre-Cana, to some religious training before they were married. And I remember they just wanted to make sure they did not miss that on a weekly basis. And so we worked on creating some kind of experiment whereby this employee was really able, with regularity, commitment, focus, and most importantly, mind share, leave the workplace on a regular basis to pursue this important value of
But to his boss, what's the deal, and how's that going to make sense from his manager's perspective?
Well, I think when you have young and old, ambitious employees, they're often concerned about what are people going to think if I leave early, or if I leave before everybody else. And I think the idea is to create open communication, and that people need to manage their time smartly and spend less of it and get more out of it. It's like any notion of ROE. You want to get the highest return on the same amount of equity. And I think we need to empower individuals to know that they can ask for small things that ultimately, can make a bigger difference in their everyday lives.
That's such a huge issue. I mean, so many people feel just afraid to ask for the kind of flexibility or discretion that they need to be able to do the things that matter to them, not just at work, but in the other parts of their lives. And of course, when they have that sense of control, they're just much better able to contribute where and when it matters.
Absolutely.
So how do you get past that barrier, that inhibition to just ask for a trial? Let's just try it this way, an experiment.
Well, it may sound trite, but first and foremost, it has to be part of the culture, so it needs to be driven from the top down. So the messages need to come from your chairman, from your president, from the most senior individuals in a firm that we value people's work-life balance. And that message has to be given over and over again. Second, I think you need to create, sort of the standard policies and practices. You need to have, codified, flexible work arrangements that people can check a box. It actually creates some kind of permission that if there's a menu, that means that you are empowered to choose.
Yeah, but most of what we know from the last 15 years of research on the work-life movement, if we can call it that, is that the best policies and practices in the world aren't really worth anything if people don't use them.
No, that's true.
So the question is, how do you get people to get past the fear that inhibits them from trying a new way of getting things done?
I think there's two ways to do it. One, you have to role model it. So make sure some very senior, very visible highly respected individuals actually take advantage of what those policies may look like. Second, you might want to do something, on a broad scale and not go so deep as commit to a new work schedule, but maybe, as your book suggests, do small experiments. And if we can use communication and showcase and share the results of those experiments, I think that can kind of create spheres of understanding that the more people you get into the system that start these overlapping spheres ultimately you can ultimately fill the box if you can visualize that and actually change the culture.
It's a kind of grassroots approach.
It is a grassroots
change on a large scale.
And I think that the work that we've done with you, if we do it with 30 people, 60 people, you can continue to build on success.
In small groups at a time.